John lived alone on a small, dusty planet. The ground was dry, and the sky was always gray. He worked in the mines every day, trying to find enough minerals to sell for food. Life was hard, and John was always tired and hungry. One day, after a long day in the mines, John walked back to his small hut. His clothes were covered in dust, and his hands were rough and dry. He opened his small food box. Inside, there was only one food bar left. It was the last food he had, and he did not know when he would get more. He sat on the old metal chair, looking at the food bar in his hand. His stomach was empty, but he was used to it. Outside, the cold wind blew, and John could hear it whistling through the cracks in the door. He was about to eat his last food when he heard a small sound outside. It was like a soft cry, almost like a kitten. John stopped and listened. The sound came again. It was weak and scared. John stood up and opened the door slowly. The cold air touched his face, and he looked around. At first, he saw nothing. Then, near the trash cans, he saw something small moving. It was a small figure, shaking in the cold. The figure was wearing a torn brown cloth, and it was so thin that it looked like it might fall at any moment. John walked closer. The small figure turned, and John saw two big glowing blue eyes looking at him. It was a little alien girl with small hands and gray skin. She looked scared, and her big eyes were full of tears. She was dirty, and her small body was shaking. From hunger and cold, the alien girl tried to step back, but she was too weak. She fell to her knees, looking at John with sad eyes. John looked at her, and then at his last food bar in his hand. His stomach hurt, but his heart hurt more when he saw the small alien girl. John knelt down and showed her the food bar. The girl looked at it, and her eyes became wider. She was too scared to move. John smiled softly and opened the food bar, breaking it into two small pieces. He gave one piece to the girl and kept the smaller piece for himself. The alien girl took the food slowly with her small hands. She smelled it first, then took a small bite. Her eyes closed, and a small tear fell from her eye as she ate. She was so hungry that she finished it quickly. She looked at John again, her eyes softer now. John sat down on the ground, eating the small piece he had kept. It was not enough for him, but it was okay. He looked at the alien girl, who was now sitting quietly, looking at him with those big blue eyes. For a moment, there was silence. The cold wind moved around them, but John felt a small warmth in his heart. The girl tried to speak, but no words came out. She only made a small sound, and then she touched John's hand with her cold, small hand. John did not know what to say. He just nodded and gave her a small smile. The girl's eyes glowed softly, and then she stood up slowly. She looked at John one last time, and then she turned and ran away into the darkness, her small figure disappearing behind the old buildings. John stood up slowly, looking at the place where she disappeared. He felt tired, and his stomach was still empty. He walked back to his hut and sat down. The cold wind came in through the cracks, and John pulled his thin blanket around his shoulders. He did not know who the alien girl was or where she came from. He did not know if he would see her again, but he was glad that he gave her the food. It was a small act, but it felt like the right thing to do. That night, John could not sleep well. He kept thinking about the small alien girl with big blue eyes. He wondered if she was safe, or if she was still hungry and cold somewhere in the dark streets. He felt sad, but also a small hope inside him. John did not know that this small act of kindness would change his life forever. He did not know that the alien girl would remember him, and that one day she would come back. Outside, the cold wind kept blowing, and the stars shone in the dark sky. John looked out of his small window, and he felt something he had not felt in a long time. He felt that maybe, even in a hard world, kindness still mattered. John thought he would never see her again. The days turned into years on that dusty colony planet. The sky was always gray, and the air was always dry. John worked in the mines, digging rocks and carrying heavy loads. His back hurt every day, and his hands were always rough and dirty. Every night, John came back to his small hut, tired and alone. He would sit by the small window, looking at the empty streets outside. Sometimes he remembered the small alien girl with the glowing blue eyes. He wondered if she was safe. He wondered if she even remembered him, but John's life stayed. The same, hard, lonely, silent. Until one night it was late, and John was trying to sleep on his small bed. The wind outside was cold, hitting the metal walls of his hut. He wrapped his thin blanket around himself and closed his eyes. Suddenly, a strange humming sound came from outside. It was soft at first, like a low song in the wind. Then it grew louder, vibrating the metal walls. John opened his eyes, confused. He sat up, listening. Then he saw it. Bright blue lights appeared in the sky, moving slowly, like they were dancing with each other. They were not like the ships he saw from the miners or the supply drones. These lights were smooth, moving in perfect circles, glowing softly in the dark sky. John stood up and walked to the window, his eyes wide. The lights were coming closer, brighter, until the whole sky above his hut was covered in blue light. It was beautiful and strange, and for a moment, John forgot to breathe. Then he heard a soft voice outside. "John." John froze. The voice was soft, almost like a whisper in the wind. But it called his name, John. He quickly put on his old boots and opened the door. The cold air hit him, but he did not care. He stepped outside, looking around. The blue lights moved above him, making the ground glow softly. The mining colony was silent, and there was no one outside. "Who's there?" John called out, his voice shaking. The lights moved again, and John saw a small shadow standing near the edge of the huts, where the forest began. The shadow stepped forward, and the blue light touched the figure. John's eyes widened. It was a young woman, but not human. Her skin was soft gray, and her hair was dark and long, moving gently in the cold wind. Her eyes were bright blue, glowing softly, just like the lights in the sky. She looked at him, her eyes gentle and warm. "John," she said again, her voice clear now, like a song. John took a step back, his heart beating fast. Who are you?" he asked, his voice almost a whisper. The young alien woman smiled softly, and in that smile, John saw something familiar. A memory of a small girl, hungry and cold, sitting in the rain, eating the food he gave her. John's eyes filled with tears. As he realized, "It's you," he said, his voice breaking. She nodded, her eyes shining brighter. "You gave me food when I was lost," she said. "You saved me when I had nothing." John could not believe it. The small alien girl he once helped was now standing in front of him, grown, strong, and surrounded by strange blue lights. He took a step forward, but stopped, unsure. "Why are you here?" John asked. The alien girl looked up at the lights in the sky, then back at him. "I came back to repay your kindness," she said softly, "and to warn you." John felt cold, not from the wind, but from the fear in her eyes. "Warn me?" he whispered. She looked at him, her glowing blue eyes serious. "Your planet is in danger, John," she said. "They are coming." John felt the world spin around him. The blue lights above moved faster, like they were alive. The alien girl stepped closer, holding out her hand to him. "Come with me," she said. "You need to see." John looked at her hand, then at her eyes. For a moment, he saw the small, hungry child he once saved. Now she was here to save him. He took a deep breath and reached out, taking her hand. The lights in the sky grew brighter, and the cold wind became warm around them. And just like that, John's quiet, hard life was about to change forever. John held her hand as the blue lights surrounded them. The wind was gone. The cold was gone. For a moment, it felt like the world stopped. Only the lights moved around them, soft and calm, like gentle waves in the dark. Then, with a soft hum, the lights lifted them both into the sky. John felt the ground leave his feet, and his heart raced. The mining colony became small below, lights of huts flickering like tiny stars. The sky was no longer dark. It was filled with soft blue light, wrapping around them like a warm blanket. He looked at the alien girl. She held his hand firmly, her glowing blue eyes looking into his with a calm strength. "Don't be afraid," she said softly. And for a moment, John wasn't. They rose into a hidden ship that was almost invisible in the night sky. Its surface shimmered like water, blending with the stars. A ramp opened, and the blue light guided them inside. Inside the ship, everything was quiet and warm. The air smelled clean, like rain after a storm. Soft lights moved across the walls, and strange symbols glowed softly. John's eyes moved around, trying to understand where he was. He saw floating orbs moving slowly like small guardians. He saw tall glass tubes filled with glowing liquid, and small lights dancing inside them. The alien girl looked at him, her eyes gentle. "John," she said, "do you remember me?" John's eyes filled with tears. "I remember," he whispered. "You were just a child, cold and hungry near the trash cans." She nodded. "I was lost," she said. "I was scared, and I had nothing. You gave me your last food when no one else would look at me." John looked down, remembering how hungry he was that day too. "It was nothing," he said. She shook her head. "It was everything," she replied. She guided him down a quiet hallway where the lights moved softly on the floor like ripples. At the end of the hallway, a large window opened to the stars. John could see the planet below, dusty and small under the darkness of space. He saw ships moving in the distance, black shapes against the stars. "Who are they?" John asked. The alien girl's eyes turned serious. "They are raiders," she said. "They take what they want from weak planets. They are coming to your world, John." John's heart sank. His small hut, the miners, the families trying to survive, he could see them in his mind. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. The alien girl looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. "Because I owe you my life," she said. "And now I will protect yours." John turned to look at her fully. "But I am just a miner," he said. "I can't fight them." The alien girl took a deep breath. "You have something they do not," she said. "You have kindness. You have the strength to care for others, even when you have nothing. That is why you can help." John felt a strange warmth in his chest. The lights around them pulsed softly, like they could feel his thoughts. She stepped closer, holding out her hand again. "Come with me," she said. "There's something you need to see." The ship moved silently, gliding through the sky until it reached the forest near the colony. The ramp opened again, and the blue lights led them down into the trees. They walked in silence, the soft hum of the ship fading as it disappeared above them. Then John saw it, a hidden base under the forest floor, covered in strange plants that moved aside as they approached. The ground opened, revealing a hidden entrance with soft blue lights guiding them down. Inside, the air was warm and filled with soft energy. Alien beings moved around, working with strange floating tools. Some looked like the girl with glowing blue eyes. Others looked different, with silver skin and long arms. Working quietly, the alien girl turned to John. "This is my family's base," she said. "We have lived here, hidden, waiting for the right time to help your world." John's eyes widened. "Why?" he asked. She looked into his eyes. "Because once, a human showed kindness to one of us," she said, her voice soft. "And now we will repay that kindness." John stood there, looking at the beings around him, feeling the warm energy in the air. The fear in his heart slowly changed into something else. Hope. as the camera pans up for your outro. The raiders are coming. The world is not ready. But John's small act of kindness has started something bigger than he ever imagined. Will this hidden family and one tired miner be enough to save a planet? John never thought he would see a place like this. He walked through the hidden base under the forest, following the alien girl with glowing blue eyes. The air was warm, and soft lights moved along the walls like rivers of light, showing them the way. Everywhere, alien beings moved with quiet focus. Some floated gently, carrying small glowing devices. Others worked at strange tables with holograms of the stars above, studying movements of ships in space. John felt small here, in this place that felt alive, breathing around him. They stopped. In a large, circular room. In the center was a tall glass structure, filled with blue liquid. Inside the liquid, small lights moved like tiny stars, swirling gently. What is this place? John asked, his voice echoing softly. The alien girl turned to him. This is the heart of our base, she said. It is alive. It helps us see, learn, and grow. It is how we survive. John stepped closer to the glass. The lights inside pulsed softly, like they were watching him. As he raised his hand near the glass, the lights moved closer, following his hand. Why are you showing me this? He asked. The alien girl took a deep breath. Because your world is in danger, John, she said. And you need to see why we have stayed hidden. She touched the glass, and the lights inside formed into images. John saw ships in the dark sky, black and sharp, moving like shadows across the stars. He saw them firing on small planets, burning the ground with red beams. He saw people running, hiding, crying as the raiders took everything. His hands shook as he watched. Why are they doing this? John whispered. Because they only take, the alien girl said. They do not care who they hurt. They think your world is weak. The images changed again. John saw the colony where he lived, the small huts, the mines, the families who tried to survive. He saw black ships above them, ready to attack. John stepped back, fear in his eyes. What can I do? He asked, his voice breaking. I am just a miner. The alien girl turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. Do you know why I came back, John? She asked. He looked at her confused. Because I gave you food? He said. She shook her head. No. Not just that, she said. You showed kindness when you had nothing. You did not look at me with fear or hate. You looked at me like I was someone who mattered. She stepped closer, placing her hand on his chest. That is why you can help, she said. Because you still care. Suddenly, alarms began to echo softly in the base, like a heartbeat growing faster. The lights on the walls turned red, pulsing in warning. The alien girl's eyes turned serious. They are coming, she said. Sooner than we thought. John looked at her, fear and determination mixing in his heart. What do we do? He asked. She turned to the lights in the glass, and the images changed to show hidden weapons, energy shields, and old ships covered in dust. We fight, she said. Alien beings around them began moving quickly, gathering supplies and powering up systems. Soft blue lights turned to sharp white beams, scanning and activating devices. John saw a small ship covered in vines and dust, hidden in a corner of the base. It looked old, but the lights inside began to glow as it powered up. That ship is for you, the alien girl said. John's eyes widened. I don't know how to fly, he said. She smiled softly. You will learn, she replied. She led him to the ship. Inside, the seats were warm, and the lights were soft, wrapping around him like a promise. The controls lit up, and small holograms showed him the colony from above. You are not alone anymore, John, the alien girl said. We will fight with you. John looked at her, the small child he once saved, now standing strong, ready to fight beside him. In that moment, John felt something he had not felt in years. Hope, The camera slowly zooms out, showing the small hidden base lighting up under the forest, ships preparing, lights rising into the sky. The raiders are coming. John and the hidden family are ready. But will it be enough to protect the world that forgot how to hope? John sat in the small ship, his hands shaking above the glowing controls. Outside, the hidden base under the forest was alive with movement. Ships lifted slowly into the sky, blue lights pulsing on their sides. Alien beings moved with quiet speed, preparing weapons and shields. The alien girl stood beside him, her glowing blue eyes calm. "Are you ready, John?" she asked. John swallowed, fear in his chest, but he nodded. "No," he whispered, "but I will try." The ship hummed softly, lifting off the ground with a gentle push. For a moment, John felt weightless as the vines fell away and the forest dropped below them. The sky above was dark, but the stars were clear, like diamonds in the black. John looked out of the window, seeing the colony lights in the distance. Small and fragile, then he saw them, black raider ships, sharp like knives, cutting through the sky. They moved in silent formation, dark and cold, ready to take everything. John's heart pounded. His hands hovered over the glowing symbols on the control panel. "Breathe." "John," the alien girl said softly, sitting beside him, "the ship will help you." The controls moved gently, guiding his hands. Symbols changed, showing the raider ships on a small glowing map. "They are coming for your people," she said. "But today, you will stop them." The raider ships fired first, red beams cutting through the dark sky, burning the ground near the colony. John saw people running below, trying to hide, terrified. "No!" John shouted, gripping the controls. Small ship moved fast, faster than John thought possible. Blue shields glowed around them as they flew towards the raiders. A raider ship turned, firing at them. The red beam hit the blue shield, shaking the ship, but it held. John felt the fear in his chest, but he pushed it down. "What do I do?" he shouted. The alien girl placed her hand on his. "Think of them," she said softly. "The people below, the families, the children. You are not fighting for yourself, John. You are fighting for them." John's eyes filled with tears, but he took a deep breath. He pressed the glowing symbol on the panel. The ship fired. Blue energy beams shot forward, hitting the raider ship, breaking its shields. The raider turned, trying to escape, but John's ship was faster. He fired again. The raider ship exploded in the sky, a silent bloom of red and black, falling in burning pieces. John stared, shocked. "I did it," he whispered, but there were more raider ships. 3 turned towards him, firing red beams. John's ship moved sharply, dodging left and right, the blue shields flashing with each hit. The alien girl guided him, her hand steady on his. "Trust yourself, John," she said. John closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them, clear and sharp. He pressed the controls, moving fast between the raider ships. He fired, hitting one, then another, the sky lighting up with blue flashes. One raider turned and fired a heavy beam. John pulled up, the beam missing by inches, burning the air below. John's ship turned sharply, coming behind the last raider. He fired one last time. The raider exploded, a silent fire in the dark sky. John sat back, breathing hard, his hands shaking. "It's over," he whispered. The alien girl looked at him, her eyes soft and proud. "No," she said softly. "It has just begun." John looked down at the colony. The people were looking up at the sky, seeing the burning remains of the raider ships. For the first time, they saw hope. The camera slowly zooms out, showing John's small ship hovering in the sky above the colony, the blue lights shining in the darkness. The raiders have seen that this world will fight back, but the true threat is still coming. And John, the miner who once gave his last food to a lost alien child, has now taken his first step as the protector of his world. John stood outside his small ship, the wind cold on his face. The sky was quiet now, burned raider ships falling like silent ashes. Below, the colony was safe, people looking up with tired eyes, seeing hope for the first time. John looked at the alien girl beside him, her glowing blue eyes reflecting the falling lights. "It's over," he whispered. She looked at him, her face sad. "No, John," she said softly. "It is not over." They walked back to the hidden base under the forest. The lights inside were dim, and the air felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. In the center of the base, the glass structure with blue liquid pulsed softly, showing small lights moving. Inside, the alien girl placed her hand on the glass, and the lights shifted, forming an image of a giant ship in space, black and cold, surrounded by shadows. John felt fear crawl up his spine. "What is that?" he asked. She turned to him, her voice quiet. "That is the true enemy, John," she said. "The raiders are only tools, slaves to something far worse." The image shifted, showing strange beings with cold silver eyes, standing above the raiders, using them to take over worlds. "They call themselves the Collectors," she said. "They travel to weak worlds, using the raiders to take resources, technology, and people." John clenched his fists. "Why?" he asked, anger in his voice. The alien girl looked down. "Because they fear strong worlds," she said. "They destroy before a world can become strong enough to fight them." John's heart pounded. "And Earth?" he asked. She looked into his eyes. "Earth is next," she said. "Your world was not ready, John. That is why we stayed hidden, waiting for the day when someone would show us hope." She stepped closer, her small hand touching his arm. "You were that hope," she said. "When you gave me your last food, you showed me that your people are worth saving." The lights in the base turned red, alarms softly echoing. The glass showed the giant collector ship moving closer to Earth, dark like a shadow blocking the stars. "They are coming now," she said. "And they will not stop until your world is gone." John felt fear, but he also felt something else inside him, a quiet fire burning stronger. "What can we do?" he asked. The alien girl took a deep breath. "There's only one way," she said. "The Collectors control the raiders with a central core on their ship. If we destroy it, the raiders will lose control, and your world will have a chance." John looked at the image of the giant ship, cold and dark in the stars. "It's impossible," he whispered. She looked at him, her eyes glowing with soft blue light. "Nothing is impossible, John," she said. "You taught me that." The alien beings in the base moved quickly, preparing the ships, loading energy cells, and activating shields. The hidden family was ready, even if it meant risking everything. John looked at his hands, remembering the day he gave the alien girl his last piece of bread. Hungry himself but still willing to share. That small act brought him here. And now he would protect everyone, even if it meant facing the impossible. The camera slowly zooms out as John stands with the alien girl, the hidden base lighting up, small ships powering up, ready to rise into the sky. The Collectors are coming. Earth stands on the edge of destruction, and one human's kindness has become the last light of hope. John looked up at the stars. They did not look peaceful anymore. They looked like a battlefield. Behind him, the small hidden base glowed softly under the forest, ships ready, lights blinking in quiet promise. Beside him, the alien girl stood, her glowing blue eyes calm. "Are you ready, John?" she asked. John took a deep breath. "No," he whispered, "but I will do it anyway." The ships lifted into the sky, leaving the green forest below. The world was quiet for a moment as John looked down at the colony he had once hated for its dust and hard life. Now, he wanted to protect it. Above, in the dark sky, the collector ship waited, black and silent, blocking the stars. It was massive, larger than anything John had ever seen. Cold lights moved along its dark surface, and small raider ships flew around it like flies around a dead thing. John's small ship shook as it moved closer, the shields glowing softly, The alien girl's voice came through the speaker. Remember, John, we must destroy the core. If we do, the raiders will lose control, and the collectors will run. John nodded, fear and hope mixing in his chest. Suddenly, red beams shot toward them. The raiders had seen them. John's ship moved fast, dodging the beams, flying between the enemy ships. Blue energy fired back, hitting a raider, making it explode. In silent fire, John's hands moved quickly on the controls. Guided by the training the alien girl had given him, the collector ship opened. Showing a dark entrance, like a mouth ready to swallow them, John flew in. Inside, it was dark with red lights blinking softly, showing metal walls and strange black wires moving like veins. The alien girl's voice was calm. Follow the lights. John, they will lead you to the core. They flew deeper into the collector ship. Raider ships followed them, firing, but John moved fast, dodging between the metal walls. Finally, they reached a large, circular room. In the center was a glowing black sphere, pulsing like a heartbeat, red veins of energy moving around it. That is the core, the alien girl said. John saw the raiders guarding it, their ships turning toward him. He took a deep breath, remembering the day he had given the little alien girl his last food. Remembering her small smile, that was why he was here. John pressed the controls. His ship fired, blue beams hitting the raiders, breaking their shields. He moved fast, firing again, taking them down one by one. But there were too many. His ship shook as a raider hit him, alarms ringing. Smoke filled the small cabin, and red lights flashed. The alien girl's voice came through, calm but sad. John, you must fire on the core now. But the shields, John shouted. They will hold for a moment, she said softly. John looked at the glowing black sphere, fear in his eyes. Then he remembered the families on the colony, the children, the people who needed hope. He pressed the controls. Blue energy beams fired, hitting the core. The red veins flashed, the sphere pulsing violently. The raiders fired back, hitting John's ship, breaking the shields. John's hand shook, but he did not stop firing. The core cracked. Light poured out, bright and blinding. The collector ship began to shake, alarms ringing everywhere, the walls cracking, lights flashing. The raiders stopped, their ships falling, powerless. The alien girl's voice came through. John, you did it, she said softly. John looked out, seeing the stars again through the cracks of the collector ship. He smiled. Tell them to fight, to live, he whispered. And with a final bright flash, the core exploded. Outside, the people on the colony looked up, seeing the collector ship break apart in the sky, falling like silent rain. They saw the raiders drop, lifeless, and for the first time they knew they were free. In the hidden base, the alien girl stood, looking up at the sky, tears in her glowing blue eyes. You saved us, John, she whispered. One act of kindness saved an entire world.